silent when someone is not well, or when there's
Yeah,
nothing
something-
that can be spoken
Right,
about,
right,
that
right.
those are the only times. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, when someone has died, or when someone is very sick,
Right.
or something very wrong has happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. Actually, that reminds me in one particular culture. Uh, for example, you go to some place in India. You go to some place, somebody's place, okay, and that person has helped you a lot and provided with all the facilities.
Right.
Then at the end, what will you say? You will say thank you for everything.
Right. Yes.
Now, in one particular culture, I forget what that culture is, but in that culture, if you say thank you for everything, then people would be, offended, because that phrase, thank you for everything, is used only when somebody has died.
Oh.
And you say that particular phrase to thank that person for whatever that person has done on this earth. So,
Okay.
thank you for everything. For us, it is a positive phrase, but for them, it is not so positive.
Right.
Right. So we need to be familiar about
Right.
such things.
Yes.
The next is, you can see on the slide, after interrupting, signs. Various signs have various meanings in different cultures.
Yes.
Yeah, different signs have different meanings.
Yeah.
Then symbols, right?
Yeah.
Some symbols here may be cultural, probably. They are not bound to any particular culture. For example, if you see the symbol of peace, like a dove,
Right.
so that is universal,
Universal.
probably,
Right.
Then for environment, green has also become more or less universal. So
Right.
some symbols
Right.
are like universal.
Colors also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And colors, as
Colors would have different
Yes,
meanings.
some
like
colours,
for
definitely.
white and black.
Yes,
For
yes.
us, I mean, we have white for mourning, and
Yeah.
they have black for mourning.
yeah.
Right.
The other way around, for example, if there is somebody is getting married, then you would not put on
White.
a black shirt also, a coat,
Right.
coat
Yes.
particularly for
Yeah.
wedding.
Yes.
In Indian culture, at least.
Yes.
But now the trend is slightly changing. It is
Yes.
becoming more westernized.
Right. No, but still, and white. I mean, the bride would usually be in white.
Yeah,
which
in
is,
Western culture.
which is completely opposite.
Unthinkable in
right,
Indian
for us. Yeah.
context.
Yes.
Yes. Then the next is attire, the dressing.
The way you dress up.
that
right.
we already
Yes.
discussed.
And
Then-
that is connected to the formality level.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, right, to a formal place, if you cannot go with certain
Yes.
attire, and yeah, or if you put on a hat or a it is
Yes,
not
not
not accept.
Yes.
Right.
Then humor, actually.
Humor.
Is also a very
Yeah.
important aspect to study in cross-cultural communication. Humor, and I would add laughter, which is not on the slide, but I would add humor and laughter. Because in some culture, laughter is also not acceptable in all the situations.
True.
And humor has its own
Yes.
ways and means. For
Yes.
example, if you are in a British environment, British culture, then you will notice very soon
Right.
that they use language to generate humor. And even in their ordinary day-to-day life communication, they will use a lot of humor,
Right.
which is not in Indian environment, probably in Indian English at least. Right?
Right.
Then the next is the format. You'll be surprised to find that even format of whether a letter or a report or anything for that matter, that is also culturally sensitive, right? Next is taboos,
Do's and don'ts.
do's and don'ts,
Okay.
like some things which you never ever do in some contexts, in some cultures. Then festivities, how you celebrate festivals, right? And to not just for say an Indian going abroad or a foreigner coming to India, but even within India, you must have seen that at different places the same festival
Is
is celebrated
in
differently,
different ways,
right? In
right.
different ways.
Yes.
So festivities
And
and
rituals.
festivals and rituals. Every culture has its own set
Own.
of rituals,
Right.
right? And we in India know very well about it. Then values. What is good? What is bad? What
Bad.
is acceptable? What is appropriate? All these things are very important in cross-cultural communication. If I can shed some light on the linguistic aspect of it, because these ultimately everything is related to each other, verbal,
Right.
non-verbal,
Right.
right? So, for example, when we talk about communicative language teaching,
Mm-hmm.
then we go by Del Heim's 4 concepts.
Okay.
So, when a native speaker speaks something,
Hmm.
that person knows that this particular phrase or structure is grammatically acceptable in this language. So, that is the knowledge that he has because of that particular language
Study.
background.
Right.
So, that is number one, what is acceptable. Second, whether something is feasible.
Mm-hmm.
If I speak or write like this, will the other person understand, whether it is feasible or not.
Right.
Then the third aspect we keep in mind is whether it is appropriate to that particular situation. And the fourth aspect is whether this particular item or this structure or word or phrase is actually in use. So, as we do these 4 things for language, I
Right.
think the same thing can be done for non-verbal communication also.
Communication, right.
Whether something is appropriate in this context.
Right.
Can we touch somebody? Should we shake hands or not? Should we nod?
Right.
Right? So,
Yeah.
all these things are important in cross-cultural communication. Then next is
Superstition.
superstitions. Right? In every culture, they have their own superstitions.
Right.
And if you have done a little bit of study on superstitions, and you will realize that the same phenomenon will have different connotations associated with them.
Right.
For example, say when a cat crosses
Cat
your
crossing.
path, then from right to left it will have one meaning, and left to
Oh.
right it will have another meaning.
I didn't know that.
If it is a black cat, then it will have some meaning.
Okay.
So, according to the culture that you are
Right.
born and brought up, you have some superstitions.
Right. Yes.
And sometimes, some students, they say that Indians are superstitious.
Mhm.
Then here I would like to tell them that it is not just Indians.
Not just,
people,
yes.
people by and large, they are superstitious. And I have first-hand experience of all kinds of people believing in different kinds of
True.
such superstitious things.
True,
Right?
true.
Yeah, you were saying something?
Yeah, superstitions also are culture specific.
Oh, yes.
And or you could say this whole culture would be like
Yes.
believes in superstitions and
Yes.
this whole like
Yeah. That's true.
yeah.
Then next is food and food habits.
Right.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Um,
Habits you mean we eat with
Yeah,
our
how you-
hands, right? And it could be considered not so good in
Yes,
many
yeah.
cultures,
Right.
And yeah, so many food. I don't know whether some food would be good or bad, but food varies from culture to culture.
And I'm sure that you would agree with me that not just food and food habits, but even tastes,
True.
vary.
Right.
What you like probably very much. For example, recently we had a guest from the UK, and my wife did a lot of work and she prepared undiyu.
Okay.
That's our traditional item.
Right.
But the guest, he praised everything other than undiyu.
Oh.
The main item became a side item actually.
Right.
So
Okay.
your tastes are also culturally sensitive probably.
Right.
Then the
Yes.
next is
And that is again depending on the climate you have come from.
probably yes, climate, yes.
Yes, Rajasthani food and Mexican food, and
Yes.
because wherever there is a lot of, I mean, it's hot climate, then
Yeah.
they eat hot food,
Right.
or the other way around, probably.
And how you eat, that's always an important item in cross-cultural communication.
Right.
Within India, you must have seen that when you go from, say, central India to South India, you will immediately find how people eat in restaurants. You must have seen how they eat, right?
Right.
And in some cultures, for example, if you go to a country like China or Japan, then probably you need some training. You need to learn how to
Yes.
eat.
To eat with
right?
chopsticks
you need
would be
you need some
difficult.
training.
Right.
And after a lot of effort, probably you learn that. And by the time you master it, you may have to come back to India.
Yes.
Right.
No, and like if you want to eat roti
Huh.
or chapati, I mean, there's no other way that you can eat without using your hands.
Yeah, that's
actually.
true, yeah.
So probably if someone else were to come to our country, they would need some training as
Yes,
well.
right.
It would be difficult.
Yeah.
Or if you have to eat with your hands, I mean, they are not
Right.
used to eating
Right.
using their hands, right?
Yeah. The next is history. As we mentioned in one of our earlier slides, one date is fully loaded with meaning. 1 year, for example, if you say 1947,
Right.
then immediately most Indians, they will
Yes.
have some particular set of beliefs and ideas,
Right.
and lots of images they come in their
Right.
come in their minds, right? So history, the study of history is also an important part of cross cultural communication,
Right.
right? Right now students might feel that it is too much. We may never be able to understand this, or we may never be able to use such things, but actually these things will come in handy if you have really studied when you go for some higher posts, right?
True.
Recently actually we conducted a workshop in a company in Ankleshwar, and it's basically a French company.
Right.
So, and we had, when I went there were some guests from France. Now at that time, if I had studied a little bit of French culture, I would have been able to establish a rapport
Rapport.
earlier and easier,
Right.
right? But at that time I didn't know much about French culture except some basic language that I have studied,
Right.
right? So the knowledge about different cultures will always be helpful to you sooner or later. And when you really need that, probably you may not have it. So
Yeah,
it is
so
better
it's
to
better
start
to be
preparing now.
Earlier.
Right.
Right.
The next is monuments. Monuments. Like for example, if you look at even a picture of the Taj Mahal,
Taj Mahal.
you will have hundreds and thousands of things in your mind.
Right.
You think about the story, you think about the messages that that particular monument communicates, right?
Yes.
Now the same building, when somebody who is not familiar with Indian culture or history, when that person sees,
It's just another
it's
monument.
just another monument,
Yes.
and may not be impressed.
Right.
Um,
Or probably might just focus on the look
Physical
of it.
aspects of
Right.
it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you can look at the slide again, then these are the points that we need to study in cross-cultural communication, particularly in non-verbal communication, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving you half a minute to look at all the items in non-verbal communication. And Selena, you can say something or add something if you feel like.
Yeah, about food habits, I just remember we used to have a girl over. She was a Swiss. She was a Swiss girl,
Yeah.
and she had. I mean, when we would, in our culture, we would, if a guest has come to our house, we would say, please take more, have more. We would keep on offering,
Yeah.
and after 4 or 5 days, she said that please don't. Please don't force me to
Right.
have any more food than I'm already having.
Yeah.
I'll have whatever I like. She was feeling offended
Yeah.
about it. I mean, just from food habits,
Yes,
I
yes.
recollected this incident.
She might feel it like pestering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe her personal space was getting.
Yeah, right. Yes. Now that we have studied in detail cross-cultural communication, it is time we think about some tips. This is a very small set of tips actually, but
Right.
I'm sure when you think about all the topics that we have discussed so far, you will be able to prepare your own tips, right? And your teachers will also help you in this particular effort. So the first tip is be sensitive.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, in India, because of this cultural diversity,
We are
and we
already-
have unity in diversity, so we expect differences. This is very important. We expect differences.
Right.
For example, when somebody is from some other country, we know about that. Then immediately our mind is ready to accept differences. So if that person behaves in a slightly different way, different from what we do, then we will accept it because we expect differences.
Yes.
Number one, and then we are more sensitive towards differences.
Right.
Whereas that is not the case for many other cultures.
True.
Those who are from monocultural background or
Yes.
monolingual background
Yes.
even, because culture and language they go hand in hand.
Yes.
So
They are
for-
not ready to expect that.
Yeah, they don't expect, and that's
and
why
then-
they
and they
feel-
don't accept.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they
they
don't
are unable
expect,
to-
they
yeah.
are unable to accept
Accept,
it,
right.
and they feel offended.
Yeah. True.
And there may be some legal, consequences after
True.
that.
True. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first is be sensitive whenever there is any difference. Difference in the way people greet you, in the way they even offer you something,
Right.
right? The way they agree with you, the way they disagree with you.
Yeah.
Like, suppose you offer something to somebody, and if that person says, "No, I don't want," so you may find offended in
Yes.
the beginning, but you have to accept. You have to be sensitive that that is the way they do
They
it
do
in their
it.
culture,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And if you think a bit deeper into this particular area, then even in some languages there are respect indicating words, right? For example, in Hindi, those who are Indian viewers, they will immediately understand that in Hindi, when you say aap, that means you are giving respect. Right? Like in English, it's not there.
It's just you.
Yeah,
all
it's
the time.
just you all the time.
Right.
There are other ways of expressing respect, right?
Yeah.
So such differences may be there.
Right.
Even in French, when I study,
Right.
I have come across many such situations
Yeah.
where even, I mean, unintentionally, we might offend somebody.
Right.
So if you are,
So does French have different words for respect?
yes, definitely, yes.
Yeah, even in
It's
German
similar-
we
yeah,
have.
okay.
Yeah, there are two ways. I mean, in the way we have in Gujarati and the
Okay.
way we have in Gujarati Hindi or
Hindi,
things
yes.
like that.
Right.
Aap or tum.
Yeah, right.
Something like
So
that.
it's very interesting. So be sensitive to differences in culture, differences in style of dressing, and everything that we have discussed.
Yeah.
There are bound to be differences.
True.
So we have to accept it in totality and be sensitive first of all. Then the second tip is appreciate differences. You know, this is one step ahead of just being
Just
familiar with
accept
that and then accepting it. The next stage is appreciate that. You should like that. You should
Right.
try to develop a liking for such differences, right? Probably that will establish a rapport immediately when you communicate with people from different cultures, right? Then the next is be adaptable. That means very often it happens that you may have to change the way you behave,
Right.
the way you communicate. So you have to change because you cannot expect the other person to be familiar with all such aspects. Because you have studied this subject, you have an edge over others.
Right.
Others may not have studied this cross-cultural communication, so they may not be able to change. But you can change yourself because you know what real communication needs, right? So be adaptable, right? At the end, we'll see some examples, if possible, for each of these tips,
Right.
right? Then the next is avoid prejudices.